George Groves here at the final press conference for your fight against Carl Froch on Saturday. You look very calm up there. Did you read much into Carl's reaction to your sort of taunts, for a better word?
For a better word, yeah. It wasn't taunts. It was just asking him some simple questions. He makes bold statements, and then you say, "Oh, hold on a minute. Let me just double check what you just said." And he says, "Oh, I don't want to argue with you." And in the same sentence, comes back with another argument. So he said, for example, "Oh, at world level there is none of this trash talking, blah blah blah." So I said, "Hold on, didn't you say you was going to kill your last opponent?" To which he said, "I don't want to argue no more. This is stupid." He contradicts himself constantly, and it's to a point where I've had to be as clear and concise as possible, and I've actually explained the way the fight's going to go for the first 3 rounds to give him 48 hours to adjust.
Do you think it's almost sacrilege in British boxing to say anything bad about Carl Froch? Everyone says he's had this amazing run of fights, and if anybody speaks up badly of him, they're quick to defend him. But you were only stating, and Paddy as well, the facts about gaps that you've seen in his defence and some of his, fights that he struggled in. Do you think, it's fair enough to say those things?
I think you're spot on. Yeah, it's a sin to mention anything bad about Carl Froch lately. He's got the backing of Sky, and he's the poster boy of Matchroom. And they're doing great things for boxing. And Carl Froch, which I've said many times before, has been a great ambassador for British boxing and has been a great champion. He's been in exciting fights. He'll be a fan's favourite because he's good to watch. But yeah, why can't I pull him apart when there's chinks in his armour? When there's fundamental flaws in his style, flaws that I can and will expose. Okay, I say it, it's up to me to go out there and do it, but I know I can, I know I will. So the fact that I've said it has already bent him out of shape. Because he's bent out of shape, I say, well, why? Are you insecure? And then he displays insecurities. He forever looks to me lost. And okay, that's my opinion. Some people might agree with it, some people might not. But he's always looking for someone to put their arm around him, to reassure him, to tell him everything's going to be okay. Well, the problem is he's have to share a ring with me, and during those 3 minutes of each round, it's not going to be okay, and I'm not going to put my arm around him. I'm going to punch him straight in the face. So he's got that to deal with.
You made your professional debut in, I think it was November 2008. He fought for his first world title in December 2008. Did you ever think, when you were boxing, after you boxed Gil Pasonka, that one day you and Carl might meet for a world title? I
wasn't sure. I thought, it would take me 4 or 5 years to get there, and I wasn't sure if he'd still be there now. Fair play to him. He's been there. He's been in some big fights, but he's done very well for himself. He signed up for the Super 6, had a few, in my opinion, ropey performances, but got through to the final and got beat. Probably got paid very well for it. Pulled it out of the bag against Boutte when he was up against it, and then has had another big fight against Kessler. So these are all fights that would have been winnable for him. He's kept himself in good shape, and he's done well. But much like this fight, those fights, there was many other incentives rather than just, I want the hard fights. If it was all about that, he wouldn't have fought Yusuf Mack last year. He fought Mikhail Kessler, who had beat him, and he went to avenge that loss. But he also got paid very well for it. Just like every time he stepped in the ring for the Super 6, got paid very, very well for it. So much like this fight, he wouldn't have earned this money that he's going to earn against me fighting Andre Ward. He wouldn't have earned it probably fighting Kessler again. He's doing very well.
Obviously, a well-publicised split with Adam Booth. Has that affected your camp at all? And have you had to change other things? I.e., have you had to bring in different strength and conditioning team, different dietitian, etc., or has it just been Paddy that's changed? And how has that change been for this camp?
No, it's been a wholesale change, and it will have an effect, but I think it's had a positive effect. I brought in people that I trust and I know, and that I want to work with. The split with Adam was a long time coming, maybe. And it wasn't a shock to me, so I didn't have to spend any time grieving. Went and found Paddy, worked with Paddy. I've worked with him before, so I knew that it would work. Having that confidence from day one, I didn't have 3 weeks of, is this guy going to pull through for me? I knew he would. So, yeah, I worked with Paddy, a fellow called Barry O'Connell, who's my conditioning coach, a very, very knowledgeable guy. To be honest, that was the guy who I employed, and I thought, well, Will he be good enough? He was better than I could have possibly expected. I've had fantastic sparring. I've been doing my strength with a fellow I've been working with for over a year now, Dan McDermott. So nothing really changed, apart from the fact I train in a gym close to my house, which is nice. And I've got guys that I trust that come and whip me into shape.
This is the biggest fight of your career, and a lot of the sort of things that Carl is saying towards, and his trainer Robert McCracken said today around the fact that you haven't competed at the same level as him. Now, obviously you haven't been through the Super 6 and things like that, but you had some tough fights. But how do you counter that argument?
Someone has to make that jump once, you know what I mean? He might make that jump 20 times, but if he's going to land on his belly each time, then, who cares? I'll dive off the top board and I'll make it a clean landing. We've got 2 mutual opponents. One we boxed with big years difference between, and then when we boxed Glenn Johnson, and he struggled badly against Glenn Johnson when he was 42 in the Super 6. I boxed Johnson a year later at 43 when he was old, and dominated and beat him every round. So if there's anything to go on with regards to competitive fights, that would be it. If you've got to make that step up to fight for a world title, so be it. I'm ready for it.
And last question, it's just about confidence, really. Like, some people, boxers especially, they almost seem to exude confidence, but they're trying to convince themselves. But when you're up there today, you looked just so calm and confident. And Carl said something to you about, he said he could look at you and he could see that you were fearful or something. But I don't think many people in the room believe that. Why do you think he said that?
I think he says what he's actually thinking and feeling. So if you're feeling scared, say, "Oh, you look scared," you don't look confident. I can see it in your eyes as his eyes all glazed over. He knows exactly the way he looks and feels and the way he's coming across. But because he's world champion, because he's got enough people behind him, he can give empty words and people will back him on it. And people say, "Oh yeah, no, he did because he said it and he meant it." But all I can say is how I know how I feel. I'm calm, I'm confident, I'm composed. I didn't need to resort to childish schoolboy tactics. So what we do?
Last question, prediction for the fight.
Carl Froch will not hear the final bell. I gave you the first 3 rounds, and then after that it's going to get a whole lot worse for Carl Froch. Can't see him hearing that final bell.
George Groves, best luck for Saturday night. Thanks very much, man.
Cheers. Nice.
All the best, man.
Just one more.